Hi, this is Ben from the Cheeseburger Network, and you're watching channelAPA.com.
Right.
Well, I started out kind of by accident. I actually ended up buying the site from a couple of people who actually are also Asian Americans out of Hawaii, and started running it by myself at the house. And that's how it got started. I didn't like the job that I had before, and it was a nice job, great career, being a director of product management, kind of moving up in the world. But I wanted to do something with consumers again. So I I became internet friends with the two people who started the site, and I showed the traffic to one of my other friends who's an angel investor, and he suggested that I buy it, and we all worked out a deal where we ended up purchasing the site, and I became the CEO of this company of cat photos. Well, it was actually already a business because it had ad revenues, and that it was really sustainable at that point. The question was, is this a fad and things like that, and all those questions were raised, and they were all valid questions. But I felt that the community and the content that they were creating had appeal beyond what we currently saw. That it could continue to expand, and that it could be a platform for humor. So we actually started creating other brands. We wanted to create other websites that shared this kind of sensibility of humor about the internet and how users could contribute and actually create their own sense of humor within these communities. So we basically ended up building these playgrounds, right? Where if you like cats, you can go to I Can Ask Cheeseburger. If you like dogs, you could go to I As a Hot Dog. Right, so we could actually go and create communities for each individual sensibility, and they would actually fill the content and actually market it. It was basically crowdsourced. People would actually email us and say, saved me from my horrible job for the few minutes that I'm on your website, or I spend a few minutes a day, going to my grandmother who's recovering from cancer, and we go through your site on my laptop, and it makes us laugh. And we saw enough of these to a point where we said, we really we didn't grow up as a startup. Like this was just a thing that we stumbled into, and so we said, we really need a mission statement. Why don't we pick something and rally ourselves around it? And we thought, why not draw from what's already happening, which is that people already love what we do for 5 minutes a day because it makes them laugh. Let's just keep doing it. Sure. For us, a brand is a memorable idea in which we can connect with the users. So it isn't necessarily about us, but it's something that makes our users happier. So if we launch a website, we want to make sure that the name may or may not reflect the content in it per se, but really has a connection to the culture or the subculture for that specific item. So for example, we launched a website called Failbook, which is making fun of Facebook, all the stupid stuff that happens in Facebook. We wanted to create a home for people to submit that content and for it to grow. And one of the ideas that we had was, people call Facebook Failbook, why don't we call it Failbook, right? And so there's a bit of a history behind that, but we eventually ended up becoming failbook.com. And I thought it was fascinating how people kind of rallied around this idea. Yeah, of course it's Failbook. These people are stupid, and it's like them and their friends. They connected with the fact that we as human beings are fallible and we can laugh at ourselves. So that's the kind of success when it comes to branding. Branding myself, I know there's a lot of really great thinkers when it comes to self-branding and promotion, and they do it really kind of tastefully and they do it really smartly. I can't say that I've really branded myself. I don't really go out and try to make a name for something. I go out and I talk about what I know and what I'm passionate about. And I try to do it on a regular basis. And every time I talk, I try to provide enough insight and value where people will be surprised that the guy who runs that cat blog can actually talk correctly. Right? So it's that level of, I've got a pretty low bar for myself, so exceeding it's not very hard, but I want to make sure that whatever the bar is, I exceed it every single time. And that consistency, I think, connects people with the brand. Sure. I was born in Korea, and I lived there till I was 11 years old. I moved to Hong Kong, lived there for about 3.5 years, went to kind of junior high school there. Then I came to the States when I was 14 years old. So, I'm literally a fob. Like, I'm first generation. Like, I'm not even like one and a half, technically speaking, right? I don't have an accent. I kind of transcend those boundaries. And I don't do a traditional fob job of being a doctor or running a grocery store or something. So those stereotypes aside, I don't know. It's just kind of, I loved content and I wanted to be a part of content and publishing, so I went to journalism school. For a fob to go to journalism school is kind of funny, I guess. Right? We're not even supposed to speak English without an accent, but I thought it was a lot of fun, and yeah. I think a lot of indie artists try to think of themselves as going mass, right? It's like I need to build this huge following of people who will then, get me onto the mainstream or what have you and crossover. What I would say actually from our lessons learned is that focus on the small group of people who are really passionate about you and find a way to connect with them on a regular basis that makes them more passionate. Not spam emails, not tweeting about what they should do for you, but create consistent quality of content day in, day out. So that they can engage with you and see you as a source and a destination. So when they come to your website and you've got a weekly post up and it's of sufficient quality that they want to come back every week, they'll become a true fan. And you can figure out a way to make a living with true fans, and those true fans will help you get more fans. It's concentrating on that small core of people and making them love you that is more important to learn as a business than going mass. Because going mass is an outcrop of making that small group of leaders very, very happy. Sure. The publishers approached us about doing a book, and I actually resisted at first. I said, "Look, we're a pure play. We're in a company. It was just by myself. I don't have a resource. I don't have the resources to actually do a book." So we actually worked with the original co-founders of the site who had sold us everything, and we licensed back the right to publish a book. So we actually worked with them to do this, and then from that point on, we decided, this is something that we're actually interested in doing. Yeah, online, absolutely. But there's very easy ways to actually fix that. So there's pretty clear laws and guidelines on how to manage that. When it comes to a book, we actually go out and make sure that we have a written paperwork that says, "Hey, I authorize you to use my photo," and all that stuff. Yeah, we've got a new book out. It's called Eye as a Hot Dog, and it came out April 20th, and it's a book of cute and funny dog photos with funny captions on it. Kind of our modus operandi.